The gavel cracked like a gunshot in the wood-paneled chamber, silencing the murmurs of the city council. "This ends tonight," I said, my voice steady as the Mississippi's current, eyes locked on the man who'd once held the noose. He shifted in his seat, that same smug curl to his lip, but the room smelled of his fear now, sweat and stale cologne. 20 years, and the boy they chased into the night had come back to claim the dawn. I was 18 when they burned my world to ash. Harlan, Ohio, a Rust Belt speck on the map where cornfields choked the horizon and God-fearing folks clutched their Bibles like shields against the devil's whisper. My name was Dylan back then, just Dylan Harper, the quarterback's shadow, the kid with the easy laugh and the secret that clawed at my chest like a caged wolf. Football Fridays lit up the town square, bonfires roaring under October stars, but mine flickered in stolen glances across the bleachers. His name was Jax. Jackson Riley, with hair like burnished copper and eyes that pulled you under like the river after rain. We met in the locker room haze, steam curling from the showers, his towel slung low on hips that I'd trace with my gaze when no one looked. "You throw like you mean it, Harper," he'd say, clapping my shoulder, his touch lingering a beat too long. By junior year, those beats stretched into nights, backroads gravel crunching under truck tires, his hand finding mine in the dark cab of his Chevy, lips tasting of cheap beer and forbidden fire. It started innocent, or as innocent as sin gets in a place like Harlan. We'd park by the old mill, engine off, radio humming Johnny Cash low enough not to wake the ghosts. "This ain't right," he'd murmur once, after our first kiss, his breath hot against my neck. But his body said different, arching into mine, fingers digging into my back like anchors. I believed him when he whispered promises. Just us against the world, Dill, because in that truck, the world was small enough to hold. But Harlan wasn't built for boys like us. My folks ran the diner on Main, Ma with her apple pies and Pa with his war stories, both products of the same soil that grew prejudice like kudzu. Church on Sundays was mandatory, Pastor Hale thundering from the pulpit about Sodom's fall, his gaze lingering on me like he knew. And Jax's dad? Old man Riley owned half the town, feed store, garage, the soul of Harlan's economy. Secrets don't stay buried in soil that thin. It unraveled on a Friday after the homecoming win. The crowd hooped as we hoisted the trophy, Jax's arms slung around my shoulders, too tight, too real. Someone snapped a photo, kids being kids, they said later, but in the grainy Polaroid that surfaced Monday, our eyes met in a way that screamed louder than any touchdown. By Tuesday, whispers slithered through the halls like smoke. "Faggots," scrawled on my locker in red Sharpie. Notes shoved in my gym bag. "Burn in hell, queer." I laughed it off at first, told myself it was jealousy, the losers mad we stole their glory. But Jax pulled away that week, his texts drying up like the creek in July. "Gotta lay low," he texted once. No emoji, no heart. I cornered him behind the bleachers after practice, the air thick with cut grass and desperation. "What's this, Jax? You gonna ghost me now?" His face crumpled, that beautiful wreck of a face. "Dill, my dad found the picture. He's gonna kill me." "Us." He reached for my hand, but his eyes darted to the parking lot, where his truck idled like a getaway car. "We can't." "Not here. Not here." The words tasted like bile. "Then where? When?" He shook his head, tears carving tracks through the dirt on his cheeks. I love you, man. But I can't lose everything. And just like that, he was gone. Truck peeling out, taillights bleeding red into the dusk. Betrayal hit like a blindside tackle, ribs cracking under the weight. By evening, the mob formed. Started at the diner. Ma's face going ghost white as customers hissed slurs over their coffee, forks clattering like judgments. Pa stormed in from the back, fists balled, but not at them, at me. Is it true, boy, you? With that Riley kid. His voice broke on the edge of a sob, eyes pleading for the lie I'd never give. I nodded, throat tight. Yeah, Pa. It's true. He backhanded me then, not hard, but enough to split my lip, blood blooming copper on my tongue. Get out. Before they come for you, for us. Ma wept in the kitchen, apron twisted in her hands, but she didn't stop him. Didn't stop the sheriff's cruiser pulling up outside, lights flashing silent warnings. Word spread wildfire. By nightfall, torches bobbed in the yard. Neighbors, teammates, faces I'd known since kindergarten twisted into masks of righteous fury. Pastor Hale at the front, Bible raised like a torch of its own. Abomination, he bellowed, as rocks pelted the windows, glass shattering like my illusions. Jax wasn't there. His dad was, though, standing tall in the glow, shotgun loose in his grip, nodding approval as they chanted. I grabbed what I could, a duffel with jeans, my Letterman jacket, the wad of tip money from the diner, and bolted out the back. The river trail was my only friend then, mud sucking at my sneakers as shouts echoed behind. Faggot, run. You sinner. Branches whipped my face, but I ran until my lungs burned, until the lights of Harlan faded to pinpricks. Hitched a ride on a semi-bound for Cincinnati, the driver's eyes pitying in the rearview. Heard about your town, kid. Small places eat their own. I curled in the bunk, Jax's scent still on my jacket, leather and pine, whispering lies in the dark. $20 got me a Greyhound to Chicago, where the wind off the lake slapped sense into me. Survive. Thrive. And one day, make them choke on their hate. Chicago was a beast that chewed runaways and spat out bones. I crashed in a flophouse off Halstead, walls thin as promises, nights alive with moans and fights. Waited tables at a dive bar in Boys Town, the rainbow flags a bomb on my bruises. There, amid the glitter and grind, I found my first taste of freedom, kisses without shame, bodies that fit like they were made for mine. But Jax haunted me. Letters I never sent, dreams where his truck pulled up at the bus station, horn blaring forgiveness. I threw myself into community college, poli-sci classes fueling the fire they'd tried to douse. Power isn't given, Professor Ruiz growled one lecture, her voice like gravel under tires. It's seized. She saw the rage in my eyes, the Harlan scar that never healed, and mentored me through internships at alderman offices, teaching me the game's brutal poetry. By 25, I was a junior staffer for a councilman in the Loop, suits tailored to hide the boy who'd run barefoot from torches. Dates came easy, tall architects, brooding artists, but none stuck. You're holding back, Dylan, one said, tracing my collarbone in a Wicker Park loft. Like you're waiting for a ghost. I laughed it off, but he was right. Love felt like a trap, baited with betrayal. Then came Marcus. God, Marcus. We met at a fundraiser for the Ali Forney Center. Him in a crisp button-down that hugged his broad shoulders. Laugh booming over the clink of wine glasses. A lawyer from Bronzeville, with skin like polished mahogany and eyes that saw straight through your armor. You look like a man who's won wars but lost the peace, he said, handing me a Scotch neat. We talked until the lights dimmed, about growing up black and queer in the South Side, about the families that disowned us both. His story mirrored mine. Dad's belt for acting soft, Mom's silent tears. But where I'd armored up, Marcus had bent, not broken, volunteering at shelters, fighting evictions in court. Hate wins if we let it, he'd say, later, in my bed with sheets tangled like our limbs. But love? That's the revolution. For the first time, I let someone in. Mornings with his coffee strong as his convictions, evenings walking the lakefront, hands linked without fear. He pushed me toward law school at night, Northwestern's halls echoing with my footsteps, echoes of Harlan, but louder now. We built a life. His firm took on civil rights cases. Mine climbed city hall rungs, advocating for LGBTQ youth programs. You're gonna run this town one day, Dylan Harper, he'd murmur, tracing the scar on my jaw. And I'll be right there, holding the map, but ghosts don't stay buried. 10 years in, a case landed on Marcus's desk, pro bono for a kid from rural Ohio, beaten and abandoned for being gay. The details hit like shrapnel. Small town, football star, mob with pitchforks. Harlan. The boy's name was Tommy, 16 and trembling in the deposition room, bruises blooming purple on his arms. They said it's God's will. He whispered, eyes downcast. Marcus brought him home that night, our guest room a sanctuary. I sat with Tommy on the couch, passing him a mug of cocoa, my voice steady as I shared my story. Not all of it, but enough. They chased me out too. But look at me now. He nodded, tears spilling, and in that moment, I saw Jax, not the boy who'd run, but the man he might have become if he'd stayed. Word got back to Harlan, of course. Small towns have long memories and longer grudges. Pastor Hale's successor emailed me clippings. Former resident returns to glory or infamy. Subtle digs at my lifestyle, my agenda. Then, the election buzz started. Chicago's mayoral race heated up, scandals toppling the incumbent like dominoes. Marcus saw it first. Run, Dill. Show them what survival looks like. I hesitated. 20 years, and the wound still wept. But Tommy's hand in mine that last night. Thank you, Mr. Harper, sealed it. Campaign HQ in a converted warehouse. Volunteers chanting my name. Marcus at my side with that grin that said we got this. Polls climbed. Endorsements poured in, from unions, queer orgs, even a few Ohio exiles. But Harlan loomed, a shadow on the stump speeches. The debate was carnage. My opponent, Victor Lang, silver-haired council vet with a folksy drawl and a platform built on family values. Whispers said he had ties to old Riley Money, feed store empire now a agribusiness giant. I didn't know until the green room, when he extended a hand like a viper's strike. Dylan Harper. Heard you were quite the troublemaker back in Harlan. His eyes, cold blue, familiar. Not Riley, but cut from the same cloth. Troublemaker, I echoed, grip firm. Or just a survivor? He chuckled, low and mean. Towns changed. But some things stick. The stage lights burned hot, moderators droning policy points. Then the pivot. Mr. Harper, critics say your advocacy for LGBTQ rights is personal, too personal. How do you respond to claims you're using the mayor's office for a vendetta? The crowd hushed, cameras zooming. Lang leaned in, smirking. I saw them all then, the torches, Jax's truck, Pa's backhand. But Marcus's voice in my ear from rehearsal. Truth is your weapon. I leaned into the mic, voice like tempered steel. Personal? Damn right it is. 20 years ago, a town chased me out for loving a boy. Beat me, shunned my family, called it justice. That boy, he broke my heart running scared. But here's the thing they forgot. I didn't break. I built. From bus stations to boardrooms, I fought for kids like me, kids like Tommy Ruiz, beaten last year in a Harlan Echo. If that's a vendetta, then call me guilty. Because this city, this country, needs leaders who remember the runaways, not the chasers. Applause erupted, thunderous, but Lang's face soured milk. Post-debate drinks with the team, Marcus pulled me aside in the hotel bar, his hand warm on my neck. You slayed, babe. But tomorrow's the real fight. He was right. Dawn brought the leak. Anonymous Oppo dump. Grainy scans of that homecoming photo. Headlines screaming mayor's secret shame. Pundits piled on. Fox affiliates calling it moral rot. Even some Dems distancing. My phone blew up. Donors pulling. Volunteers quitting. And Jax, a Facebook friend request from Jackson Riley. Profile pic a family man in a polo. 2 kids grinning beside a blonde wife. I accepted, heart pounding. His message saw the news. Dill, I'm sorry. Can we talk? We met in a dive off Michigan Avenue. Neutral ground. He looked older, lines etched deep, but those eyes still pulling me under. Congrats on the race, he started, nursing a bud. You deserve it. Deserve. The word snapped. You left me to the wolves, Jax. Said you loved me, then bailed. He winced, rubbing his neck. Dad threatened to cut me off. Said he'd tell everyone. Ruin Ma. I was a kid, scared shitless. A pause, voice cracking. Married Sarah to prove I was normal. Divorced 5 years ago. Kids know now. About me. About you. The air thickened. Why now? Because you're right. I ran. But seeing you up there, fighting, makes me wish I'd stayed. His hand brushed mine across the table, electric. Wrong. What if? No. I pulled back, the scar on my jaw itching. What ifs are for cowards. I got a life now. A man who stayed. Jax nodded, eyes wet. Marcus? He's lucky. He stood, leaving a crumpled napkin with his number. If you need an ally. Harlan's voting block. I can sway some. I crumpled it too, but pocketed it. Betrayal's ghost. Offering redemption, the universe had a sick sense of humor. The final weeks blurred. Rallies in Pilsen. Town halls in Englewood. Marcus's steady hand through the storm. Tommy testified at a youth forum. His voice unbroken. Dill showed me hate loses when we stand. Polls ticked up. Lang's attacks backfiring into sympathy waves. Election night. War room in the Hyatt. Screens flickering precincts. Marcus paced. Tie loose, while I nursed a whiskey. Whatever happens, he said, kissing my temple, we're unbreakable. Then the call, 52% Harper. The room exploded, hugs, cheers, champagne spraying like victory rain. I pulled Marcus close amid the chaos, his laugh vibrating against my chest. Mayor Dylan Harper, he whispered. Told you, but triumph's edge cuts. Sworn in at City Hall, hand on the Bible, irony thick as fog. I scanned the crowd. Pa was there, frail in the back row, Ma's rosary clicking in his pocket. No Jax. Later, in the green room, he cornered me, older, grayer, but Pa's eyes still pleading. Proud of you, son. A beat. Forgive an old fool? I hugged him, bones brittle under my arms. Water under the bridge, Pa. But don't chase anyone else out. He nodded, tears salting his beard. Harlan's shadow lifted, just a fraction. As mayor, the work began. Ordinances for queer youth shelters, partnerships with Ohio Outreach Tommy's program, first on the list. Marcus moved into the mayor's residence. Our mornings now with briefings and stolen kisses over the trib. But one night, 3 months in, a knock echoed through the marble halls. Jack stood there, suit rumpled, eyes haunted. Lang's team. They're digging. Found out about us. The photo's just the start. They've got affidavits from Harlan, calling you unstable. My blood iced. And I'm here to testify. For you. He stepped closer, voice raw. Not for what-ifs. For making it right. The hearing was a circus, cameras flashing, Lang's lawyers slinging mud. Jax took the stand, voice steady. I loved Dylan. Still do, in a way. But what we did, it was kids finding light in the dark. Harlan's hate drove him out, drove me to hide. Don't let it drive this city back. The room shifted. Jurors or counsel leaned in. Lang crumbled under cross, his values exposed as Riley cash funneled through packs. Cleared, vindicated, I faced the press outside, Marcus's hand in mine. This isn't about one man, I said. It's about all of us, the runaways, the fighters. Chicago welcomes you home. Jax slipped away after a nod our goodbye. No numbers exchanged this time. Closure, not chapters. Years blurred into legacy. Parks named for fallen queer icons. Bridges mended with Harlan. Pa's Diner now a community hub. Ma's Pies funding scholarships. Marcus and I adopted little Eli. With his copper curls and fearless grin, our family a testament against the torches. On the 20th anniversary of that Greyhound ride, I stood on the lakefront, wind whipping my coat, Eli tugging my hand. Daddy, why'd they chase you? Marcus knelt. I soft. Because they were scared, buddy. But Daddy Dylan? He showed I'm brave. I pulled them close, the city lights sprawling like a conquered kingdom. They forgot one thing, exile forges kings. And in ruling with heart, not hate, I'd won more than the vote. I'd reclaimed the boy they broke. The mayoral suite overlooked the loop's electric vein, skyscrapers pulsing with the heartbeat of a city that never slept. But some nights, sleep evaded me too, ghosts slipping through the cracks in the crown molding. Marcus snored softly beside me, his arm a warm anchor across my waist, Eli's nightlight casting starry guardians on the nursery monitor. Yet there I was, 3 a.m., scrolling old emails, Harlan clippings, Jax's unsent drafts from a decade ago, words I'd archived like shrapnel in a drawer. It had been 6 months since the hearing, and the high of victory had settled into the grind. Budget battles over needle exchanges, ribbon cuttings for pride centers that felt like echoes of my own flight. Lang slunk back to his district, tail between his legs, but his poison lingered, op-eds in the Sun-Times questioning if personal crusades fit a mayor's robe. Marcus waved them off over breakfasts of steel-cut oats and strategy. Let embark, Dill. You're the alpha now. He was my rock. That man, fierce in court, tender in the quiet hours, his laugh a bass line to my melody. We talked marriage once, over wine on the balcony, the Sears Tower winking like a co-conspirator. Why rush? He'd said, clinking glasses. We've got rings of our own, Eli's giggles. This view, but lately, his cases pulled him late, shadows under his eyes from depositions that mirrored my own buried rage. Another kid from the sticks, he'd vent, loosening his tie. Beaten for holding hands. When does it end? Never, I'd reply, pulling him down. But we keep swinging. Swing we did. My admin pushed the Harbor Lights initiative, safe houses for queer youth up and down the lakefront, modeled after the one that saved me in Boys Town. Tommy Ruiz, now 20 and interning at City Hall, led the Youth Advisory Board, his testimony a spark that ignited donors. You gave me a voice, Mayor, he'd say, fist-bumping me in the halls. Now we're amplifying, but amplification cuts both ways. Whispers started in the backrooms, conservative aldermen grumbling about special interests, bundling my bills with tax hikes on the South Side. Then, the call from Pa, crackling line from Ohio, his voice thinner than last Christmas. Town's talking. Dylan. Riley's back in play, buying up council seats, they say. Watch your 6. Pa had softened in retirement, Ma's passing 2 years back carving canyons in him. He'd visit quarterly, Eli climbing his lap for war tales sanitized for tots. Missed my shot with you, son, he'd admit over beers on the pier. But seeing you here redeems it some. I'd nod, the backhand's ghost fading to a bruise. Jax's warning proved prescient. At the next council meeting, a new face, Alderman-elect Greta Voss, Harlan born and bred, her smile sharp as a switchblade. Progressive values are fine, Mr. Mayor, she purred during Q&A, but Harlan teaches us family first. No agendas over constituents. The room tittered. Marcus squeezed my knee under the dais. Post-meeting, in the dim-lit office, I paced while he poured scotch. She's Riley's puppet. Bet on it. Or worse, his daughter-in-law. Marcus handed me the glass, his touch lingering. We fight smart. Dig where it hurts. We did. My team unearthed ties. Voss's campaign flush with agribusiness packs. Riley fingerprints all over. Jax confirmed it over encrypted text. Dad's pulling strings. Hates your revenge tour. Let me broker peace. I deleted it, but not before Marcus saw. Still carrying that torch? He teased. But his eyes held a flicker. Jealousy? Hurt? No torch, I said, cupping his face. Just embers. You're the fire now. We made love that night fierce and slow. reclaiming the space between us, his body a map I'd memorized. But dawn brought reality. A leaked memo from Voss's office, outlining values realignment, slashing Harbor Lights funding, redirecting to traditional family programs. The press ate it up, Mayor Harper's pet project in peril. Rallies formed organically, pride flags waving on Wrigleyville corners, queer activists chaining to council doors. Eli, sensing the storm, drew me a picture. Stick figure Dylan with a cape, fighting dragons labeled H8. Marcus framed it on his desk. A talisman. The counterstrike brewed in back channels. I greenlit a task force on rural-urban migration, inviting Harlan reps to Chicago symposia, bridge building with teeth. Jax RSVP'd as a community liaison, his presence a wild card. Our first meet was coffee in a Loop cafe, neutral as Switzerland. He looked good, lean from farm work, laugh lines deepening the charm. Kids are teens now, he shared, stirring cream. One's out, my boy, actually. Comes to me for advice I wish I'd had. Proud, I asked. Genuine. Damn right. Wish I'd been braver for you. His gaze dropped. Dad's cancer's back. Stage 4. He's unrepentant. But the town's shifting. Younger folks remember your story. I nodded, the old pull warring with walls. Help me sway Voss. Or it's war. He agreed, and the chessboard tilted. Jax lobbied back home, peeling council votes with testimonials from reformed haters, ex-pastors now allies, teammates owning their silence. Voss buckled under pressure, the memo withdrawn amid clarifications. Victory lap included a gala at the Art Institute, chandeliers dripping light on tuxes and gowns. Marcus in midnight blue, devastating. Me in charcoal, his pin on my lapel. We danced to Ella Fitzgerald, his breath warm on my neck. To empires, he toasted later, in our limo home. But empires crack. 2 weeks post-gala, Marcus collapsed in court. Exhaustion, the doc said, but tests revealed more early MS, shadows on the MRI. Manageable, he insisted in the hospital room, hand gripping mine white-knuckled. Doesn't change a thing. Everything changed. I cleared my calendar. Eli's school runs now mine. Nights rubbing his calves when spasms hit. You're the mayor, he'd protest, voice thick. Go lead. Leading starts here, I'd say, kissing his forehead. Jax texted support, family first, always a kindness that stung. The MS fueled my fire. I pushed the Resilience Act, health equity for underserved communities, queer-inclusive neurocare. Voss opposed, citing costs, but Jax's block flipped her. Passage night, Marcus wheeled in temporarily. He swore, Eli on his lap, cheering as I signed. Post-ceremony, alone on the balcony, Jax joined me, uninvited, but welcome in the chill. Heard about Marcus. Anything I can. Stay the course, I cut in. That's enough. He nodded, then Dad's gone. Funeral's Saturday. Wants you there. Said. Owes you an apology. The old man, felled by his own hate, irony bit deep. I'll think, Harlan called, a siren song of closure. Marcus urged go. End the chapter, Dill. For us, the drive was ghosts. Cornfields whispering accusations, the mill's skeleton looming. Funeral home smelled of lilies and regret. Folks I'd fled nodding awkward hellos. Voss in the front pew, eyes narrowed. Jack spoke first, eulogy balanced on a knife. He built this town. But buildings fall if foundations crack on fear. Then me, at the podium, voice echoing off pine panels. Mr. Riley chased shadows once. Taught his son to run from them. But running builds speed, and I ran far enough to look back without hate. Rest easy. Harlan's changing because we let light in. After Jax walked me to the lot, gravel crunching memory. You honored him, honored the possibility. Pause. Thanks for the bridge, Jax. His hug was brief, brotherly, final. Write the epilogue. Mayor. Back in Chicago, Marcus waited with takeout tie and a proposal ring, simple platinum, engraved unbreakable. Marry me, Dylan Harper. Let's make it official before I start bossing you around from a scooter. Laughter broke the tears. Yes. God. Yes. Wedding was small, Navy Pier at sunset. Eli ringbearer in a tiny tux. Tommy best man. Vows exchanged with the lake as witness. In sickness, in strength, Marcus said, Ice shining. You've been my revolution. And you mine, I replied, sealing it. But revolutions circle. A year on, Eli's school project unearthed my Polaroid, dug from archives. Innocent now in a Heroes of Change exhibit. Classmates gawked. One bully sneered gay mayor. Eli punched him, suspended for a week. Grounding him, I shared the story, torches, trucks, triumphs. Hate's loud, kiddo. But love, it's louder if you let it. He hugged fierce. Like you and Dad, like us. The wedding glow lingered like summer haze, but Chicago's autumn winds stripped illusions bare. Marcus's MS progressed in fits. Good days hiking the 606 trail with Eli. Bad ones where his grip faltered on coffee mugs. Frustration etching his brow. I'm not fragile, he'd snap, then soften with a kiss. Just adapting. We adapted together. Physical therapy in the mayor's gym. Adapted vehicles parked curbside. My speeches weaving in calls for disability rights. Voss, ever the thorn, filibustered the expansions. Pity projects over potholes? Her barbs landed in the trib, fueling recall whispers. Jax checked in sporadically. Updates on Harlan's Pride picnic. His boys coming out party. Took him to Boys Town, he'd text. Felt like time travel. I'd reply with emojis, boundaries firm, but the pull nagged, a loose thread in the tapestry. Then, the unravel. Anonymous dossier dropped in my inbox, PDF stamped, for Harlan's eyes only. Pages of surveillance, grainy shots of Marcus and me at fundraisers, Eli's school pics, even our wedding toast audio, twisted with captions. Pervert mayor corrupts youth. Sourced to a ghost account, but metadata screamed Voss's IT guy. War room reconvened. My chief of staff, Lena, a bulldog from Cabrini, slammed printouts. This is election interference. We sue. And martyr her? Marcus countered from his ergonomic chair, voice measured. Trace it. Flip the script. Trace led to Jax unwittingly. His farm Wi-Fi pinged in the chain, a hacked router from a security audit he'd requested post-funeral. Panicked call. Dill, I swear. I know, I soothed, though doubt wormed. But meet me. Now. He drove up that night, dust-caked truck idling outside City Hall like déjà vu. In the conference room, fluorescence harsh on his fatigue. Someone used my network. Probably Dad's old cronies, cleaning house. Or you, Lena pressed, arms crossed. Jax's face drained. After everything, I burned bridges for you. For redemption, I said softly. Not me. Silence stretched. Brittle. Maybe that's it. He stood, defeated. Call off the hounds, Dill. Or we're done. I let him go, but sleep evaded. Marcus found me at dawn on the balcony, scotch in hand. Trust your gut. Gut said Jax was clean, scared, not scheming. But trust? That was the casualty. The leak exploded midweek. Dossier splashed across Breitbart clones. Chicago's gay mayor. Grooming agenda exposed? Phones rang off hooks. Protests at my door. Counter-rallies with rainbow barricades. Eli's school went remote. His drawings now shields on the fridge. My dads are heroes. Voss called a special session. Motion to censure. Erosion of public trust. The chamber crackled tension. Aldermen shifting like jury members. I testified calm. Dossier dissected. Falsified timestamps. Photoshopped proofs. This isn't policy debate, I concluded. Eyes on Voss. It's fear-mongering. And fear built my scars, but not my spine. Jax appeared unannounced, sworn in as witness. I know the players, he testified, voice steady. Harlan holdouts, scared of change. Used my access, 'cause they knew it'd hurt most. He met my gaze. But Dylan? He's the change we need. Council split. Censure failed 28-22. Voss stormed out, but not before hissing. This ain't over. Riley, it wasn't. That night, en route home, our SUV swerved. Tires slashed in the garage. Brake lines cut. Secret Service detail, perks of the job, whisked us to a safe house in Oak Park. Eli wide-eyed with questions. Bad guys. Like in movies. Worse, Marcus murmured, holding him. But we win. Investigation pinned it on Voss's aide. Overzealous. Not her direct order. Resignation. Charges pending. But the damage festered. Marcus's stress spiked symptoms. A flare landing him in Northwestern for IVs. I camped bedside, laptop balanced on knees, signing edicts between beeps. Jax visited once, flowers in hand, lilies, ironic. Heard about the car. You okay? Bruised, I admitted, glancing at Marcus, asleep. But standing. Good. Hesitation. Dill. About the gut thing. I get it. But I never betrayed you. Not then. Not now. Then why does it feel like it? The words escaped. Because I did. 20 years back. And sorry's a weak bridge. He squeezed my shoulder. Build stronger ones. He left. I stayed. Marcus waking to my vigil. Jax. Yeah. Forgive him yet? Not yet. You. He smiled faint. Working on it. For the man I love. Love's labor intensified. Discharged. Marcus dove into advocacy, testifying for the Resilience Act's MS riders. His wheelchair a podium. Eli adapted too, braiding friendship bracelets for PT nurses. My ratings soared, the assassination attempt light version humanizing me in polls. But Voss circled. Holiday recess brought her bill. Family First Act. Vouchers for traditional schools. Defunding queer curricula. Co-sponsors. Old Harlan allies. Riley ghosts. I vetoed on live TV. Surrounded by survivors. Tommy. Jax's boy via Zoom. Eli clutching my leg. Family isn't blood or Bibles, I declared. It's who shows up. And we will. Override failed, but the fight drained. New Year's Eve. Tower party with donors. Marcus begged off, fatigue winning. I slipped away early, joining him on the couch. Eli conked out with popcorn kernels in his hair. To surviving, we toasted with ginger ale. To thriving, he corrected, kissing me deep. January thawed secrets. Jax called. Voss approached me, offered cash to flip votes. Turned her down. Recorded it. Gold. The tape dropped anonymously. Guess who? Voss's voice damning. Harlan Way or Highway. Ethics probe launched. Her seat in jeopardy. Special election buzzed, me unopposed. But the real race, my heart's backlog. Post-probe. Jax and I met at the old mill site, redeveloped now into a heritage park. Plaques noting town's turbulent past. Snow dusted the paths, our breaths fogging. You saved my ass, I said, hands in pockets. Karma's a bitch, smile wry. Seeing you with Marcus. Eli. Makes the what-ifs fade. Good. Pause. Friends. Always were. Hug lingered a second too long, memories echo, then released. Clean. Spring bloomed renewal. Marcus's trials stabilized on new meds. Walks resuming with Eli chasing pigeons. My admin greenlit, Echo Initiative, rural exchange programs, Harlan kids interning in Chicago, swapping hate for hope. First cohort included Jax's daughter, her essays on Dylan's duality going viral. But climax crested unbidden. June Pride, Grand Marshal me on the float, Marcus waving from the reviewing stand, Eli perched on his shoulders. Route thrummed with joy, drag queens lip-syncing gaga, leathermen high-fiving teens. Then, mid-parade, a counter-protest breached barriers. Voss at the helm, megaphone blaring Sodom's fall, her mob chanting slurs, signs thrusting like spears. Chaos erupted, pushing, shoving, a bottle sailing toward the float. I leaped down, details swarming, but not before tackling a sign wielder. A kid, Harlan fresh, eyes wild with indoctrination. They made me, he sobbed as cuffs clicked. Voss sneered from the line. Your parade, your poison. No, I roared. Mike snatched from a queen. Our city. Our fight. To the crowd. This ends now. Love wins or we all lose. Chance shifted. Love wins. Love wins. Cops cleared the line. Voss arrested for incitement. That night, headlines hailed Harbor Hero, but victory tasted ash. The kid, 17, named Kyle, sat in juvie, Voss's pawn. I visited him solo, no pomp. Know why I'm here? To gloat, defiant, but cracking. To say I get it. Chased once. Hurt people to fit in. I slid a photo across. Young me and Jax. Blurry homecoming. Don't let them write your story. He stared. Tears unshed. What if it's too late? Never. Handshake. Call Tommy. He'll show you. Release came swift, community service at Harbor Lights. Kyle's first essay, From Chaser to Changed. Voss, convicted, disbarred from office. Her exit speech, Harlan's gone soft, but Harlan thrived, pride flags on Main. Pa's diner hosting mixers. Summer waned with weddings of our own. Marcus and I renewing in the park. Eli scattering petals. Jax toasting from afar. To loose ends tied, but not severed. Autumn brought council races, my endorsements sealing progressive sweeps. Eli started soccer, Marcus coaching from the sidelines, Kane as scepter. Yet, in quiet, I pondered the arc, from chase to chaser of dreams, betrayal's blade dulled to a tool. Jax married, a quiet ceremony, his partner a teacher with kind eyes. Invite came, I sent regrets, with a note, happily ever after suit you. His reply, you taught me that. Winter's grip loosened into a tentative spring, Chicago shrugging off ice like an old grudge. Marcus's MS plateaued, miracle of modern meds. He joked, allowing hikes in Jackson Park. Eli darting ahead with a kite snapping like freedom. City Hall hummed with progress. Echo Initiative cohorts returning transformed. Harlan's Youth Corps planting community gardens on the south side. Tommy, now a full aide, quipped, "You're building bridges faster than the feds." Bridges? Yes, but some spanned chasms within. The 20th anniversary of my Greyhound exile loomed, a milestone I dodged in schedules. Marcus sensed it, planning a reclamation tour, drive back to Harlan, not as fugitive, but king. You sure? I asked over diner hash irony of choice in a Wrigleyville booth. Positive. Close the loop, Dill. For Eli, to show roots don't always choke. Eli beamed. Can we see Grandpa's old diner? Pa had passed that winter. Peaceful, in his sleep, Ma's quilt tucked to his chin. His letter, found in the Bible drawer. Forgive the chaser in me, son. You chased light. We'd scattered ashes by the river. Jack's there. Silent solidarity. The road trip was therapy on wheels. I-90 East. Marcus navigating Spotify soul sets. Eli quizzing me on the bad old days. Harlan greeted with faded welcome. New mural on the water tower. Rainbow arching over cornstalks. Plaque reading from shadows to shine. Honoring Dylan Harper. Main Street bustled. Diner reborn as Harper's Harvest. Run by my cousin Lena, no relation to the chief. She hugged fierce. Pa would have loved this. Inside, booths brimmed locals. Ex-teammates with graying buzz cuts. Pastor Hale's successor pouring coffee. Welcome home, Mayor. Home. The word stuck, sweet and strange. Jax met us at the mill park. His husband Ben beside, tall, bearded, with a grip like oak. Brought the welcome wagon, Jax grinned, handing Eli a model truck. Like the one that got away. We toured. New youth center named for Riley Sr. Irony Jax insisted on. To flip the script. Inside, Kyle volunteered, coaching soccer to runaways. Your visit changed me, Mayor, he said, shy. Paying forward, picnic by the river, blankets spread under willows. Marcus grilled veggie burgers. Ben shared Harlan lore. Eli and Jax's kids chased fireflies early. As dusk fell, Jax and I walked the trail old escape route, now lit with solar paths. Surreal, I murmured, gravel soft under sneakers. Yeah, he paused. Ben knows the story. All of it. Says you're the hero I deserved. I laughed. Marcus says the same about you, Catalyst. Not villain. Betrayal's a hell of a plot twist. But redemptions stick the landing. We clasped forearms, veteran salute, and rejoined the fire. Stories flowed. Jax's divorce grit, my boys' town hustles, Marcus's courtroom epics. Eli yawned. Did you really run from torches? Dad. Torches and worse, I said, pulling him close. But see, ran to this. Night's end. Hotel check-in. Marcus and I collapsed laughing. Eli zonked between us. Worth it? He whispered. Every mile. Returned to Chicago sealed shifts. My State of the City address wove the tour. Exile's gift. Broader horizons. Applause thundered. Vasa's empty seat a void. But life's not linear. Fall brought Eli's crisis. School play casting. Him as the prince. Gay-coded subplot drawing parent pushback. It's just a fairy tale, he protested. Tears hot. Why can't I? We rallied. Marcus scripting lines. Me meeting the PDA. Stories shape us, I argued. Let him shine. He did curtain call cheers drowning detractors. Backstage hug. Thanks, dads. Love's the best magic. Magic faltered next spring. Marcus's flare hit hard. Hospital again. This time with talk of trials. Experimental, the doc said. Risky, but promising. We weighed it. Pros, mobility regained. Cons, side effects roulette. Jax drove up for support. Ben with pie. Whatever you choose, he said over kitchen table. We're in your corner. Choice made, trial enrolled. Weeks blurred. Infusions. Nausea. Marcus's humor my lifeline. If I sprout wings, you're explaining to Eli. Eli adapted. Drawing superhero dad cards. City paused for me. Lena holding fort. Tommy whispering updates. Breakthrough came midsummer. Scans clear. Steps steadier. Marcus walked unassisted down Michigan Avenue. Hand in mine. Pride banners fluttering witness. We did it, he breathed. You did. We. Fall elections loomed. My rerun unopposed. But national eyes turned. Speculation for governor. Senator. Marcus quipped. White House next. I'll be the stylish first spouse. Dreams danced. But grounded in now. Eli's bar mitzvah, Marcus's heritage. Family expanded with Jax's crew visiting. Barbecue at the residence. Kids splashing in the pool. One night, post-dinner, Jax pulled me aside. Ben and I. Adopting. A boy from Harlan. Like Kyle was. Congrats. Genuine warmth. Thanks to you, your programs made it possible. Pause. Closure feels good. Ha! Like exhaling after holding breath for decades. Thanksgiving brought full circle. Table groaning with turkey and tamales. Pa's recipe cards propped like ghosts. Toast circled to survivals, to loves. Eli raised his glass. To chasing dreams, not people. Here. Years folded forward. Governorship 1. D.C. Whispers. Marcus thrived. Firm partnering with my admin on national bills, Equality Act amendments, rural queer funds. Eli college bound. Poli-sci major. Like dad. Jax and Ben fostered a network. Harlan a beacon. Kyle? Graduated. Now Echo coordinator. On the 30th anniversary. Greyhound ghosts long dust. I stood lakefront with Marcus. Gray at our temples. Eli's call from NYU buzzing. Miss you. Heroes. We made it, Marcus said, arm around me. Not just made it. Rewrote it. The city sprawled, lights claiming the dark. They chased a boy once, forgot his fire. But fire forges mayors and men's worlds. In the end, human trumps hate. Not with vengeance, but with open hands, hearts unscarred. Love wins. Always.